Hello, Conroe. This is Kay Hayter welcoming you to Hanging with the Hayters. We're so glad you're listening this morning to irlonestar.com. I'm here with my other half, Mark.
See, she said other half. I could be the best, but we all know better than that. Kay, hi. Kid, how was your week? I don't even remember seeing you.
I know. We've been to the doctors,
yeah.
Seems like, all week.
You know, Kay don't want me to tell you, and I won't, but Kay had a procedure, and the preparation for it pretty much ruined both of us. We don't need to go into it more than that, but she is
It's that thing where you have to drink like a gallon.
Oh, my word.
The big jug.
And you know, when somebody's drinking a gallon out of the big jug, and they're moaning and all, there's nothing, if you're a spouse, you can do. There's nothing I can do for her other than say, I've been there before.
Don't
I feel your
this
pain.
Part of the house.
Yeah.
Go away.
Anyway, so yeah, it was some kind of tonsillectomy thing. No, it wasn't, but she had that going for her. And that was one thing we had. Kay, the Super Bowl. How did it come out the way you wanted it to?
I'm not sure.
She doesn't care. She really doesn't care. I was in there coming in reporting every once in a while about. Folks, I was not rooting for a team. I was rooting for Peyton Manning because I'm an old guy and I've been following him through the years. And I just wanted him to win because he comes across as a nice guy. And I really thought that Cam Newton, who was quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, you know, he's big braggios, but he's nice. He always gives footballs to little kids, Kay, in the stands and all,
okay.
and he does great stuff.
He does stuff with the fans.
But son of a gun, he looked lackadaisical during the game, and afterwards he was just a little brat. He didn't take it.
I did see a film clip of that. He was very upset, and I don't know if it was. Well, probably with himself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He just did not take losing the Super Bowl, his first one, the greatest game of the entire year. He didn't take that well, and I'm sure.
He's still young. He needs a little maturity.
He's very young.
So,
but he's good, and he's probably the greatest quarterback in the league. Definitely not Peyton Manning, who's slowed down a bit. Now, I know I've lost so many of you out there, but that was one of the things that took place this weekend. Kay, what movies did you see?
I haven't seen any movies.
Me neither.
There's nothing at the movies I don't think I want to see. Maybe Hail Caesar, but I'm really iffy on that.
Yeah, and by the way, when she says hell, it's Hail, which is hi-yo. It's not hell.
That's correct.
I don't know if it is or not. Anyway, in the top. I'm sorry, ladies. Anyway, so many other things going down. Let's see what I got here. Oh, I need to mention, Kay, and you can correct me if you can. This is just not for you people. It's just me taking advantage of the position here of being able to talk on the radio. Mm-hmm. That our browser what is it, Kay?
Our browser is Firefox.
Firefox. And I tried to get off of Firefox, and we did. Kay got us off, but every time I try to go on the internet, it says, "Do you want to go back to your?"
No. We're on Firefox.
We're on
That's
Firefox.
Our browser.
Okay.
But you want to use Google as your search engine, but ask.com keeps asking, us to go back to them.
Make it stop, Kay.
And they don't make it clear which little thing to click to say no. And so every time I go use Mark's computer, it's back to ask.com, which I don't care for. Right.
Now I'm sounding like the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers because I'm whining.
So as soon as I get home, I'm sure I'll be on his computer changing it back to Google.
Yeah. By the way, we are at the second break, and I'll introduce these young ladies in just a little bit. You're young if you're not as old as I am. Neither one of them, folks, can reach this pinnacle in their life. But
I hope they do.
Oh, they will. They haven't yet. I said that in past tense. Ladies, forget what I just said. But Kay and I were going down the street. We do that every once in a while. We weren't walking. We didn't have plastic bags in our hands or anything. We were driving down the street, and I looked over there on Fraser Street, and I said, Kay, didn't there used to be a motel there? And she said, yes, and it was up on a hill. And I said, what about that hamburger place? And it seemed like Castle. They had used to have people, the little ladies that would come to your car and all.
Oh, right.
Do you remember the name of that?
I don't remember the motel, but I remember when there was, I don't know if it was Dandy Dog or what.
Okay, we stayed in that motel No, we didn't. We never did. But, yeah, it was just kind of like a drive-by motel. And it got me to thinking.
Drive-by motel. Okay.
That didn't sound good either. Folks, and now let's go. No. And what I was thinking is, Kay, what a great topic for hanging with the Hayters. We'll talk about yodeling. About things changing in the
we have been here
county
a long
and the store.
Time, and
we
have seen a lot of changes. When we first moved to Conroe, Greens Point was not there. There was a sign in the middle of the field that said Greens Point Mall coming soon, and it said that for several years.
Yeah.
So, and that place is like,
it's now
older
a bomb
than
zone.
the hills now.
Not really. I apologize for saying that to all the people in Greenspoint. But what I decided to do is, who can we get on the show? And I wanted my favorite people from school, sometimes pronounced SCOO, Lisa, Martin, and Pat Sledge. I just love them to pieces because when you've been in the trenches with someone,
yes,
there's a bond you cannot get rid of. Time can do it for some people. But
this is high school. We're talking,
this is high
thousands
school,
of teenagers surrounding you.
And the things I want to mention this before the second break because we don't need to talk about this after the break. Pat's, when I look at Lisa, I could see her in the hall, and it just, there was something about, hey, Mark, don't take yourself so seriously. There's Lisa Martin, and she's got a smile on her face. She's happy and all of this. And I have that thought in mind. Pat Sledge, I love dearly. I think we were close to kindred spirits, but when I see her now, all I think of is restroom duty. We had restroom duty together, and if it wasn't for Pat, I don't know what. It was miserable.
So you had to stand out in the hall outside the boys' room and the girls' restroom,
and Pat would say occasionally, too often than I cared to hear, okay, Mark, let's check inside. And anyway, I'd go into the girls' room. I'd go over there to the boys' room, and anytime you go into the boys' room at a school, you're going to catch somebody doing something. There is no way you're not. And then you got to run them down and fill out. So I would always cough loudly or do something before going in because I was a jerk and I didn't like to make a scene. But that Pat, she was good. I think they should have fired my buns with respect to restroom duty and just kept her in charge. But she can tell you more about that if she chooses.
It could have been, lunchroom duty, which I'm sure you did that too during the course.
Oh, man. Kate, what's the worst about duty to me is you don't know the children. I don't know their names. In my class, I could develop rapport. When you're going in the restroom, I don't have time to develop rapport with somebody who's smoking or writing on the wall or burning the garbage can. I just have to assume, wow, he hates me, and I'm not crazy about him at that moment. But anyway, that's the problem. But Pat, that vision of us will leave me in time.
He still has nightmares.
I do. School, and I need to talk to you all about those.
It's always, he's unprepared. Yeah. He's late. There's, the kids are taking over.
Terrible. It's worst case scenario.
Really, he tells me these dreams on a regular basis.
Okay, last week we started something called Fact or Fiction. And I've got a couple right now. These are old wives' tales that people told, and or that have been around forever. And are they true or not? Last week I don't remember which ones we had, but feed a cold, starve a fever. Forget that. That's not true. You feed anything you got. Feed it,
I know
folks.
that now.
Yeah,
you
and let's obesity feed that sucker.
You informed me.
Here's one you may have heard. Body heat escapes from the top of your head, mostly from the top of your head. That's why people in the olden days... I thought that was
true, because it's when you wear a hat.
Well, yeah, that's one reason you wear a hat. People, way back when, they wore night caps and all. Kay, did you used to wear one of those? Did you...
No.
We didn't need
We live in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't any need for a night.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is, by the way, most of the heat escaping from your head is false. The part that, I don't know if it's heat escapes or not, but the part that's the coldest when it's cold is a part that's not covered. And if everything's covered but your head, you need to put a hat on because that'll make it less cold. If you want the most of your heat to escape from another part of your body, bare your face. Right now they're having Mardi Gras, sometimes pronounced Mardi Gras. And if you're a lady out there and you want to get some beads, what's going to happen is for a nanosecond, your chest is going to be the coldest part of your body because the heat will be released there. Anyway, that's what they say. So, ladies and gentlemen, forget about the head. You do need to put something on it.
I don't think they do that at all, the Mardi Gras.
Oh, not anymore. Of course not.
That's New Orleans.
Yeah, we've never been, Kay.
No,
don't
care to go.
The other one, fact or fiction, is this. Carrots improve your eyesight. Wow. What do you think, Kay?
Carrots have vitamin A.
Kay,
I know that.
that's why I married this girl. One of the biggest reasons was the fact of her shoe size.
Supposed to be good for your vision and a whole lot of other stuff.
Exactly. But Kay, that's not true. It does have vitamin A, and vitamin A helps many parts of your body. One is it keeps your eyes healthy, but it doesn't make you see any better.
Oh, that's a trick question.
It's not a trick question, Kay, but here's how it got started. And folks, you're not going to believe this. How many of you, raise your hand if you're not interested in history? Just about all of you. But let me tell you this, how this got started, and it's in history. World War II, Kay. In World War II, during the bombing of Britain, the Nazis were blowing the daylights out of Britain at start.
They did.
And then all of a sudden, the British started shooting down plane after plane, and they were really getting the edge on Germany. And the reason was radar. They had invented radar, and they had radar posts everywhere. Well, the newspapers were saying we shot down more than before. Why? What's happening? And I am not making this up. Britain, the government released a propaganda thing saying it's because our military pilots were giving them more root vegetables, carrots, and it is improving. It's got vitamin A. It is improving their eyesight.
Well, that is terrific.
And it also helped the people in Britain to actually farm more, put in carrots and all, because we're helping the war effort. Ooh, propaganda.
That was very smart.
They'll lie to you. See,
Yeah,
that's better than saying we've got
that.
radar and there's some here and there. No, you don't do that, Kay. That would be foolish.
But the Germans tried to knock out radar installations, so
They did.
They had an inkling.
Oh, they probably figured stuff out.
So.
They couldn't. We had what you call mobile in some cases, just moved around. And by the way, Germany had radar also. But that was an interesting. That's how it got started. And from then on, people wanted carrots to see better. I just like them because they clean your teeth after a meal. They really do, Kay. By the way, what do we have to pick up after the show today?
Celery.
Celery! We got to get celery, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, that was just a reminder. Folks, right now, though, we are going to take a break, and when you come back, I don't know how it works. Dick knows. He's the dadgum director of everything. We're going to have our two guests here, and we're going to be talking to Pat Sledge and Lisa Martin, my two favoriteest.
We're going back in time.
School friends, going back in time, ladies and gentlemen. The way we were. Back with Hanging with the Hayters in a couple of minutes.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hanging with the Hayters. And across from me, of course, is my lovely wife, the better half, Kay. And sitting over here is Lisa Martin and Pat Sledge, both of them CISD employees. One still currently, and that's Lisa Martin. Lisa, hey, Martin. I never called her by her last name. It's always, Lisa, there are two named people a lot of times, like John Wayne. Hey, John, it's John Wayne, Lisa Martin. I don't know why. I can call Pat, but Pat Sledge. Anyway, Lisa, you're still with the CISD. What are you doing?
Still there, associate principal at Oak Ridge High School, in charge of the facilities and everything that falls under that.
Oh, okay. That's in other words, you've got a job with responsibility.
A little responsibility.
That's
more than bathroom duty.
Bathroom duty's pretty responsible, Lisa. But yeah, you're right, because we're trying to fix Lisa's headphone. You can't hear. She's not that mild speaking. Pat Sledge retired from CISD, I think, 1999 at the age of 35.
Is correct. Yes.
I don't know how. Isn't retirement nice?
Absolutely.
While Pat and I were on restroom duty, we would spend our time when we weren't in the restroom leaning over the banister there, looking down at the door.
At the first floor?
At the first floor, and it was...
And out into the sun.
The conversation got to retirement so much. It's,
absolutely.
What are you going to do? I don't know, but it's not going to be this. But anyway, good to see Pat here. And Pat, you've been in this area since 68, is that what I heard?
67. Well, we moved here in 68, yes.
Cool.
End of 68.
And you came from...
Houston. Born and raised.
I've heard of that.
Native.
Okay. Now, Lisa Martin is different. She's from the Northeast. She's from the Dallas area. And what were those, Terrell and...
Lake Tawakoni.
What the Sam Hill? I did not even know we had a Tawakoni. I mean, I know in some animals there's a Tawakoni on their rib cage area. But where is this, Lake Tawakoni, and how big is it?
I couldn't tell you the size. I really don't remember, square mileage of the lake.
Oh,
but
come
it's
Lake Conroe comparison?
It's bigger than Lake Conroe.
Hokey smokes.
I think.
Are you sure this isn't Lake Tacoma?
No, I'm positive. Tawakoni.
Wow. Lake Texarkana?
Promise. Tawakoni.
Son of a gun, Tawakoni. And, of course, that's named after a German field marshal in World War I, is it not?
Probably more like an Indian.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Kind of like
Indian,
Natchitoches.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah.
And, Lisa, you've been here since 70 what?
Well, I came down to Huntsville for college in 74, and then in 78 left Huntsville and came to Conroe, actually. So
Wow.
Washington Junior High, first job.
Good
Been in the
school.
area ever since.
Yeah. From Washington, you went to...
Waller ISD for a couple of years, and then back to Conroe.
Okay, why did that happen, by the way? Might I ask?
When did I come back?
No, why Waller?
Why?
None of my what?
Well, it was actually just a good friend that was coaching there sort of coaxed me away, and then Conroe coaxed me back, and I've been there ever since.
Wow,
Yay.
that's how I made it to Conroe. Somebody
Good move, Conroe.
coaxed me
It was a good move on my
after
part.
they saw tears in my eyes. Okay, enough of this about these ladies. Now, about the way we were, you've seen changes. Kay and I have. My problem, of course, would be remembering them. Pat, tell us some of the things you remember that are gone, that and you know where they were. And
First one that comes to mind, Mark, is the Speedy Pack.
the what?
The Speedy Pack. It was an old grocery store on the corner of Tamina Road and I-45.
It sure was.
It
Son of
had wood floors that had holes in them. You could go in there and buy most anything. They'd cook for you. There was places you could mail letters, etc. And kids rode their horses down there. They did everything.
You said Tamina Road and what?
I-45.
That's what I thought. Where? What's there now?
Home Depot.
Home Depot stole Speedy Pack. Oh my gosh, the things these corporations are doing to us.
There was also a Dairy Queen on, in fact, that was just about all, on 45, which was up near Oak Ridge, that a lot of kids rode horses down to. You didn't drive to it. Growing up in Oak Ridge in those days, my kids, it was kind of like Mayberry, because when we bought our property to build our house on, there was a dirt road we lived on Maplewood, which was the main road going down through Oak Ridge. and he drove us in a truck to show us the property, and we couldn't build on it. We bought it in early '68, and couldn't build on it until late '68 because of the fact there weren't any roads. There was no facilities or anything.
You know, and Pat, once again, you're talking 67, 68. That, you know, when you mention horses and all that, oh, no. Now you've gone back to post-World War I days.
Exactly. I told you how old I was.
That is. Where did you eat in your family? If you ever ate out, the Hayters usually maybe
on
once
Friday,
a month.
after we moved there, on Friday nights, it was definite. I worked in Houston at the time for Tenneco. But on Friday nights, we rushed home so we could come to Conroe and go to the pig stand on Frazier, so we could go to the football game.
The pig stand and barbecue or what?
Just hamburgers.
Oh.
And they just came in. It's where I don't know what's there now. Used to be a big variety store and a grocery store. I'm sorry, I don't know what's there now. But my oldest daughter went to Conroe High and to Washington and to Crockett, in Travis. I'm sorry, but I'll tell you something about the school system. My kids obviously came from Houston. The oldest one did, and she was in junior high when we got here, and we enrolled her in Travis. And one afternoon, that first week, she got out of school and went out because she had never ridden a school bus before. She got on the wrong bus. And there weren't many buses coming to Oak Ridge because there were only like 49 or 50 houses at that time. And the bus driver kept circling around to deliver kids, and Stacy never got off. You know, and finally she said, "Honey, where do you belong?" You know?
I'll go anywhere.
No.
Where do I go?
And Stacy told her, and the bus driver drove her all the way to Oak Ridge and left her. That wouldn't happen in today's world.
Wouldn't.
She'd
be sitting in a
be
lawn
back
chair
at
at
the
the bus
bus barn, I
barn.
guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and there were no elementary schools or anything. My youngest finally went to Armstrong when it opened.
Oh,
in
boy,
fact,
that was big deals. It was round and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, then the next one, she then moved. My youngest one went to a new school almost every year. She went to Armstrong, and then she went to Lamar when it opened, which is when I went to work for Conroe.
Well, that's what happens when you get suspended on and on. I'm sorry. That's not true.
It may be. You've met my daughter.
Schools. Lisa, when you think of change in the area, does one thing pop out more than other? And I'm not talking about bodily change or anything. I'm talking about the area.
Well, on the bodily change, yes.
No.
Every time I look in the mirror, I think, my gosh, how did this happen?
Hey, have you had that K procedure yet?
We're not going there.
Drop
Okay.
it.
But,
Drop it.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Drop it, Mark.
We don't want to hear.
Mark, put that behind you, okay?
Hey, yeah.
What stands out the most to me is when Oak Ridge opened in the early 80s, I was a coach, and so I would come to school dressed ready to run, and I would take off and go run in the community before school ever started. And so I would run through the neighborhood and across Woodlands Parkway into the Woodlands well before there was a mall, before there was it was, dirt roads and trees and deer was what I would see every morning. So that's been the biggest thing to me, is just from the dirt roads in the woods to the malls and the one building after another, which is, it's nice, but I miss the woods.
I remember when I was with the Texas Forest Service many years ago. This was 1973, and we were with somebody from Mitchell Industry, their PR person, whatever, in the middle of the woods. And I was ankle deep in water, and I was out there, and this guy was telling me, okay, here's the deal. That area over there is going to be the new high school, McCullough. And we're going to have, subdivision here, and then and he started explaining this stuff, and my thought was, not in my lifetime. And son of a gun, look at it. I get lost in the woodlands, and I'm not even walking.
Right. I remember, I don't remember who was telling me about it, but they were talking about the vision for the waterway. And I remember thinking, well, that would be nice, but not in my lifetime, And now, when I look at it, I think, gosh, what a great vision that was. So
it is so cool, really, to go down to the marketplace, and it's really neat. I love going down there.
If we could only afford to buy stuff down there.
It's just like going to the Galleria in Houston.
It is.
Only it's closer, and I'm glad.
Lisa, I don't know why I keep thinking of food, but What were some of the eating places back then that you recall?
Gosh, there weren't a lot of things. I remember, from the school perspective, if we wanted to leave school, and go in, the only thing that was really close by was the Pizza Hut, which is long gone. But it was where I think there's now a National Tire and Battery right there where the Pizza Hut was.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of anything. There was Mexican
There was a
food.
barbecue place down there on 45 that's now
Tom's, it was something like that.
it's now like a
Carden.
lumber place. There's two together. I don't know which one, but that was
I don't
like
know
the
what-
only restaurant.
I don't remember that.
It's
But
right
that
there
was-
before the entrance, the exit at 1488, and I don't. Bob's
1488.
Barbecue or something.
Yeah.
That, Cowboy. With,
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
I don't
absolutely.
remember.
I had forgotten
Right.
that. I had forgotten that.
One of the funniest things I remember when we were young, and I remember one Sunday we stopped by the Bonus Burger, which used to be on
Bonus. Do y'all remember
on-
Bonus Burgers?
I don't.
on North Fraser Street, and it was after church. We went in, and you went and got in line to order our burgers, and I sat down at a table so I could reserve a table. It was getting crowded, and this lady
Lady! I'm
and
sorry.
her little boy walked in, and he must have been about 4, and she sat him at the table next to me. So, and then she went to go in line, but before she did, she looked at him. She said, "Now, don't put your tongue on the table." And went to get in line, and of course I had to watch, and the first thing he did was put his chin on the table, and his tongue came out, and I don't know what the deal was, but obviously there was some history there.
Hey, I was standing in line, and when I heard her say, "Don't put your tongue on the table," I said, "Oh my gosh, you're nuts!" And I turned around to watch, and sure enough, that kid, the minute she's gone, oh, I hadn't thought of that, and put his dadgum tongue on the table.
It's just-
Bonus Burger, great onion rings.
Yeah, they did. They had good burgers.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been in Conroe?
We moved here in 71.
71, yeah.
Okay.
Late 71, like November.
Yeah, and we went to Huntsville a couple of years after that, and then back to Conroe. It was fascinating. Speaking of fascinating, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to take our 30-minute break right now.
30-minute?
No, I'm
I
sorry.
think so.
The break, it's after 30 minutes.
This is why I'm here, folks.
It is exactly. And by the way, weather, traffic, this whole thing, Dick Schischler is the man of the moment. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, more of the way we were and perhaps things involving social things that are different now than they were then. Back in a couple.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio here at irlonestar.com. It is 12:30. A quick interruption between Hanging with the Hayters with your weather and traffic update. For the Montgomery County area, it's 61 degrees outside. Humidity is around 24%. This afternoon will be sunny with a high near 66, with winds up to 10 miles an hour coming from the south. Tonight will be clear and a low around 45. Driving around Montgomery County, you're going to be okay. Heading northbound on I-45 all the way to Willis and southbound all the way to Spring. I do not say I do not see any accidents or incidences on 242, 1488, or 105, or the Loop. So everything else looks good to go. We'll update you at the top of the hour before the Health Hour with Mike Sasser. But right now, we're going to get back to the sponsor break and then the Hanging with the Haters.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Hanging with the Haters, and Kay and I are here with Pat Sledge and Lisa Martin. Lisa, I wanted to ask you, I don't know, I hate that. Where have you always lived in the city of Montgomery area, town of Montgomery area, or where did you live when you first came?
I lived in Tomball.
Oh my goodness! So you commuted a little bit. Probably the roads were a little different back then.
It was way different. Yeah.
You used to live, pretty much downtown Montgomery. I loved the house. Christmas, you put up lights and everything, but you don't live there anymore.
I still live there.
Oh my word! Let's give them the address.
Come by sometime.
I need to do that. And during the summer, I've actually thought of that. But since she's a principal, she'll be working the whole time anyway. But back to our topic. I was thinking, and when I was coming up with ideas myself about things that have changed, one had to do with Lake Conroe. And Pat, you've been here long enough to remember the process and all. What do you
before
remember
there was
about?
water.
Before there was water, and God said, what?
That's exactly what happened.
Isn't that the truth? Tell us what that's.
My in-laws moved down here and bought what was going to be lakefront property. And, there was nothing. They had to trust everything, And sure enough, they told them it probably would fill up, maybe in a year, and in one summer.
Really?
One winter, actually, because it rained. And God said there was going to be rain, and there was, And it filled up to be a lake. And they had waterfront property by the end of that summer. So
I think they also had equipment
underwater.
They
did. They did, and there were places in the lake that there were, they had dug out, and were going to put something or build a house or something else, build up an island or whatever. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen because of that. There were subdivisions that didn't get made because of the fact they couldn't get to them.
Right.
The water went where they didn't plan on it. And my stepfather, who was an old-time Conroeite, kept saying, it's going to be a mud hole, it's going to be a mud hole. And finally we said, that's the dirtiest mud hole I ever saw. But it really was. It was something that surprised everyone.
Really?
Everyone.
I hadn't thought of it, but I wonder if there's people who bought property and it's part of the lake. In other words,
there were in my mother-in-law and father-in-law subdivision, because they were on an inlet, sort of, and part of that inlet they had to move the property lines back because the water was so full. So they lost property, actually.
Surely they got reimbursed by
someone, that's another whole story, Mark.
Well, I can remember when they were planning it and they were buying up land. What do they call it? The government eminent domain. And boy, some of my friends at church and all, old people who had property, were selling it. Wow, first it was $2,500 an acre. Wow. And then those people that held on $5,000 an acre, we got it and all.
Oh, yeah.
Son of a gun. And, they made it pretty good. But, boy, the property now in that area.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Was the lake privately funded? That's what I've heard. Do you know?
At one point it was. Okay. Yeah. And I think there's been times that they've gone back and done other things now.
Okay.
But in the beginning, it definitely was the powers that be, the old folks.
There is a dearth of public access to this lake. As much as that lake in Seguin, where I don't think there's any way the public can get into whatever that lake is. It might be Lake Seguin. I could be wrong.
I think you might be
Anyway,
right.
that's just one of many, and we could, oh gosh, this is stuff we could talk about forever, but I don't know how interesting it is to some of those youngsters. And folks, we are really catering to the children. It's the children we want, but we'll take whoever we can get. People my age, by all means, listen in. But right now, what I would like to hear is Lisa has been a coach. What sports, by the way, Lisa, did you not coach? What sports did you coach?
I coached everything but football, I think.
Yeah, that's, I would guess. The volleyball and...
Mainly volleyball. Head volleyball coach at Oak Ridge.
Did you ever do softball?
You know what? I didn't. I played it, but I never coached it.
Let me ask you this. What sport did you favor with regards to coaching? Is it fair to say, or is that bad?
Well, I'm partial to volleyball.
Oh, man.
I have to say, I'm partial.
Yeah. But... what about, speaking of children, what are some of you're still in the education business, what are some of the things you've recall from the way it was to the way it perhaps is now? I know you've read a lot, being a principal, you have to keep up on stuff, about things that are happening in education today and all. What are some of the things that come to mind with respect to change?
You know, I think the biggest change is kids are still kids. We still love kids.
You're kidding
That's
me.
why we do what we do. No kidding.
They're still kids.
They are. And they're
sometimes they don't look,
Right.
some of them look very mature, but they are still kids.
Exactly. Don't be fooled by the mature look. They're still youngsters. And,
Still going to think that way.
And yeah. But you know what? The biggest difference to me as a school administrator has been the onslaught of technology. While it's it's a great and wonderful thing, it has caused some different issues for us to control. So it gets misused on occasion in schools, and kids tend to say things maybe on the internet and through social media that they would not say to a fellow classmate's face. And so we really do have to deal sometimes with kids being appropriate with each other.
You know, that is the most tactful sentence I think I've ever heard.
She's being an administrator.
She is. She's talking, she's, I think, referring to cyberbullying, which happens, and you are so right. The things that they can do and post that, hey, nobody sees me doing it, but coming up to them.
Adults are doing the same thing, too, not just the kids.
Okay, now that's too much. Now you're stepping over the line.
People are really happy to express their opinion
Absolutely.
online.
Whether want it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about... I don't know how to say it, learning ability, intelligence level, are they any smarter than they were back when? Not that they were dumb back then, don't get me wrong.
I don't know. I don't know that kids are any smarter. I think that we as educators are expecting more. And so I do think we're pushing kids harder than we used to. Mm-hmm. I don't know that their level of intelligence has really changed, but we're pushing kids to a level that I don't think that we expected when I was first in it.
I saw a thing on the news just a couple of weeks ago, and it was about, I think it's up and around the Arlington area, that they've got an elementary school, and they have reintroduced recess and have found that the kids do better when they're in class if they have some recess and get to go out and, get rid of some energy.
That program absolutely was initiated by a friend of Lisa's and mine.
Really?
Yes.
She's wonderful.
She's a professor at TCU.
Wow.
And it's really doing great
I would have
things.
applauded if there had been an audience.
Amen.
She actually took it was like a 6 or 9 week sabbatical and went to Finland and studied their educational system and brought back a lot of their philosophies. And has several school districts in the Fort Worth area that are piloting some programs for
Fort
her.
Worth.
So
okay,
they're doing.
I was around that area.
They're doing what I did at recess. I mean, they're back. What's old is new again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what we did when we were growing up. Not that we were any smarter, but it seemed like I could sit in a seat longer. And I'm certainly one of those ADA kids.
Well, and it's also unscheduled play.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And so kids are having to figure out on their own how to spend that 15 minutes and how to interact with each other. and how to settle the score on the playground, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
It's
you know,
good
so
for
it's a good thing.
social
Sure.
skills.
Sure.
Well, I think it's terrific.
It is terrific.
And I hope that the school districts start looking at
yeah,
this.
yeah, me too.
seriously.
Me too.
You know, with regards to the technology, Pat, I don't know about you, but my retirement, one thing that pushed me was my ability to retire, of course, and the other was the thought that when I retired, the news was next year each of you will have a web page, and you will, whatever makeup work you will put on the computer and your test or whatever it's going to be. Folks, I didn't know makeup work until the guy showed up at my desk. Oh yeah, here's what you're doing, and don't think you're not. That kind of stuff. And the other was what you were talking about, Lisa, or alluding to so tactfully. You know, the internet. My thought was, how do I grade anything, any essay or whatever they turn in? I don't know. Where did they get it? It sounds good or whatever, but is it theirs? And cheating. Lisa, Martin, can you imagine? I mean, a guy's sitting there, and you're not supposed to have phones, or that was the other thing. I was supposed to take their phones away, and oh my gosh. Well, so-and-so doesn't, and I don't care. I'm not so-and-so. But anyway, the thought of just being able to snap a picture of a Scantron or, a fill-in-the-blank test or whatever is, and it going viral would ruin me.
Oh, yeah.
And that worried me a lot, so I chickened out at that point. Said, it's good time, Mark. In fact, they want you off this wall. And I thought it's better to leave close to the top of your game.
I think the clincher was when nobody in one of his classes knew who John Wayne was.
Well, that hurt. That hurt somewhat. That's a signal for something.
Mark, you would have loved my stepfather. He collected all of the old John Wayne movies. In fact, my daughter has all of them now. He must have had, and when he was sick, that the caregivers got so they could say one of those John Wayne movies verbatim because he would play it over and over. He loved John Wayne.
Big Jake is one that had a lot of quotes in it that I like.
When I watch his movies now, I realize he was really kind of a better actor than I ever gave him credit for.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, I know he was probably more of a celebrity than he was.
I always looked at him as just sort of a big oaf, and but when you really sit down and look at him, he wasn't bad,
Speaking of that, and John Wayne, think of some of the TV shows back then, Saturday morning shows. Lisa, what did you ever get interested in that as a child? You seem so much more cerebral that you probably didn't. But
no, I was not cerebral at all. As a little kid, I was like all over Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that being a big deal, getting up and making a bowl of cereal and watching cartoons.
That's because your parents didn't want to get out of bed, Lisa. That's what we always told our
That's
kids.
Probably true.
I mean, we always told our kids that.
the
Go get some cereal.
The TV
Talk
was a
first.
babysitter even then.
Yeah. And so, oddly enough, was the movie theater. And it never registered in my mind when Mom and Dad would actually let us, 7 kids, go to the movie. Are you out of your mind? We don't have the money. We don't have anything. Yeah,
how much did it cost you?
20 cents to get in, and popcorn, 5 cents a nickel, and a drink was 10. And
30 cents would get you.
Oh, my God.
My mother and Daddy could give me 50 cents, and I could spend all day Saturday at the movie.
Yeah, they
go to the
appreciate
first show,
it.
go to the cartoons
that
before.
was-
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh. What cartoons in particular? Any...
Felix the Cat. I remember as a kid, I loved. I will not, but I could still sing the song that goes with
Felix
that.
the Cat, the wonderful cat. The
yeah.
more you laugh, the more your heart
something
will
like
ache, and
that,
something
yeah.
will go pitter pat.
Exactly.
That is, Lisa, that was one of my worst cartoons.
Really?
Felix, I mean, I couldn't. Whoever laughed at Felix the Cat? But Looney Tunes. Those were.
Loved them.
Did any of
Daffy
y'all?
Duck.
Probably too young. Watch Soupy Sales Saturday morning.
I remember Soupy Sales.
My goodness.
Vaguely.
We did.
My neighbor
great.
boy, a good friend of mine, I went over to his house and said, hey, come out Saturday morning, let's do something. He said, no, I'm watching Soupy Sales. I said, you're out of your mind. And then I went and watched Soupy Sales, and I said, look what we've missed. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're missing now is our final break. We're going to come back in just a moment with a story and a joke, if I can think of one. Here on Hanging with the Hayters, Pat Sledge, Lisa Martin, thank you so much for being with us. It was so nice.
Enjoyed it, Mark.
Y'all made the
Enjoyed
show
it, Kay.
just
Thank you.
100% better than it would have been without you. Thank you so much. Back in that.
Lone Star Internet Radio is now bringing you the weekly business hour show each Monday morning at 11 a.m. My name is Rick Schisler, and I will be your host. Each week, we will be bringing you local, area, and national business news that you can use. The program will also feature an interview with a local or national business person who will share their own experiences, successes, and failures in operating their businesses. Our show is for anyone who already owns a business, whether they work solo or have employees, and for those who are thinking about starting their own businesses. A bit of information about myself. Again, my name is Rick Schisler, and I am a Silver Fox advisor who has over 40 years' experience as a serial entrepreneur. As a part of our show, I will offer some advice and encouragement on our monthly topic, and I will take your questions by email at rschisler@silverfox.org or called into the station at 936-647-3776. See you on the radio Monday at 11 a.m. for the weekly business hour.
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today. So remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org. That's JUNQUE for more information and store hours.
And we're back with Hanging with the Hayters. Mark's been had his thinking cap on during the break. And have you come up with a joke, babe?
I did, Kay. And once again, this is one, and my ability to remember jokes is just horrible. But this one's a short one, and it's cute, and it came from Garrison Keller again. That guy, I like him.
Yeah.
And it goes something like this. A little boy named Billy, that sounds like a good name, asked his grandpa, said, "Grandpa, would you make a noise like a frog?" And his grandpa said, "No." He said, "Oh, Grandpa, please make a noise like a frog." And he said, "I don't want to." And he said, "Grandpa, you've got to. Please, just this one time, make a noise like a frog." And he said, "Why is it you want me to make a noise as a frog? Why is it so important to you?" He said, "Because Grandma said as soon as you croak, she's taking us to Disneyland." That was so sad, Kay.
Garrison Keller.
Garrison Keller. Well, one of his writers told him that. Garrison Keller is a writer, by the way. But, Kay, now for a story. And I was thinking this morning, I have written about this particular story and told it to probably several of you out there. But it's about George Kennedy. Way back when the actor George Kennedy,
Academy Award-winning actor, yes.
There was a movie called The Man Who Came Back. Much of it was filmed here, and much of it was also filmed in Bracketville, down where Alamo City used to be, where they John Wayne created a new Alamo. And there were actors. Eric Braeden was there, and of course George Kennedy, Billy Zane. Actors you've seen in commercials forever, and of course, who's that?
And on television.
Armand Assante was there also.
Armand Assante.
Yeah, and I was a chauffeur.
He's our age.
Oh, yeah, at least. Not at least. I mean, he's probably our age.
He is our age.
Nice people for the most part. Sean Young. And when I said nice people, I was really being very favorable to a lot of them, more than they deserve. But some of them were a pain, you know. And I was just the chauffeur. Who gives two hoots about the chauffeur? And anyway, but the big exception to me was George Kennedy. I was supposed to take George Kennedy after his last shoot where they drug him through the town. And, I mean, they didn't really drag him. But he had to lay down in the street in 104-degree temperature.
Any younger.
He's not. But anyway, and I was going to have to drive him back, and he told me, he said, "Just come in the morning, and I'll try to be awake." And anyway, I went to pick him up. I had to get him to the airplane, you know, early as I could. And
it's the airport in San Antonio.
Airport in San Antonio,
okay.
And we're in Bracketville, which is I don't know, 40 more miles than that from San Antonio. And anyway, it was kind of a rush. Uvalde's 40 miles. I don't know how far Bracketville is. Anyway, he did not answer the door, but his door was unlocked. we're inside a complex. Nobody's going to do anything to you. So I walked in, and he was asleep, and nobody else was in there. And so, what do you do to George Kennedy to wake him up? So I just went over there and shoved his arm and said, Mr. Kennedy. He looked up. Oh, what time is it? He said, I am so sorry. He's apologizing to me. I said, no problem. He said, I will. Let me walk out of here, and you get ready, and I'll be out there, and I'll take these bags, to the. Thank you so much. Anyway, put them in the back of the car. They had a Cadillac back then that had a leaking tire. I hated that. But anyway, I'm driving to San Antonio, and just this side of Uvalde was one of those, not state troopers, one of those border stops. I pull up, and this guy, everybody's stopping. I'm in a line behind him, about 4 cars, and I wait, and finally I get there. They don't smile, Kay. They do not smile. They don't even act close to polite. And this guy's looking me over, and the night before I had some Swedish camera people, and they had been smoking marijuana and had stuff, so I was scared to death. Not marijuana, they had drugs back there. But I was thinking, oh my gosh, did they leave anything? Am I in trouble or whatever? George Kennedy's sitting in the front seat. Most of them would sit in the back, but not George. He's sitting right in the front. And the guard stands there, and he's looking around. What are you doing? What are you going to the airport? I said, okay. He just looks, and he looks around and said, okay, go. And, not kiss my foot. And so I started going. He said, wait a minute. I said, oh, run. I'm out. Give me the handcuffs. And so I backed up, because he ain't coming to me. And he walks over there, and he looks in the window. It's rolled down, and he looks right past me. And he takes his arm, and he reaches it right past my nose to George Kennedy. And he said, I know you. Who are you? And George Kennedy looked at him, and I said, that's George Kennedy, Academy Award winner and all. He said, I knew it. His whole countenance changed. And he said, I've seen all your movies. You're the greatest actor and all of this stuff. And George Kennedy just said, yeah, he was just nodding and being very nice. But, boy, we had to go. And George said, well, thank you. But he didn't ask for an autograph. He said, thank you much, sir. You're doing just a wonderful job. And then I left. And that was one of those times when I was scared to death. But lo and behold, Kay, there at the end, it was like, wow. I think if George Kennedy hadn't been there, if it had just been me or somebody else, he'd have probably arrested me for something. I don't know what. But we weren't. You
must have looked suspicious.
I must have. I think it was a white Cadillac and a guy that didn't look like he belonged in one.
For some reason.
I've got it. I didn't have any illegals or anything. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is whatever this show was today, it was mostly due to Lisa Martin and Pat Sledge. Thank you, ladies, so much for being with Kay and I today on Hanging with the Hayters. Tomorrow there will be, I doubt we'll have a guest tomorrow. Let's just, you and me, hash over one of the greatest disasters that is coming in the history of mankind.
Oh.
Back, ladies and gentlemen, next week. Thank you so much for listening to Hanging with the Hayters.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.